Welcome back to my channel, everyone. The Next Level Life Hacks, where we take the next step needed towards our financial success and freedom. Now, from the thumbnail, you would have figured out that we will be discussing purchasing or buying a house. I bought a house and I consider it to be one of the biggest mistakes that I have ever made. Maybe at that time, maybe overall, but we're going to be looking and diving into it. Now, disclaimer alert. I am not a financial advisor. That's number one. Number two, this is my personal opinion based on my personal experience. So therefore, you need to evaluate, and I do advise that you seek financial help and assistance from a licensed financial advisor. But let's dig into the matter. We are going to be looking at the top reasons why you should not be purchasing a house. We have been fed a lie. We have been given a status quo that everyone should grow up and purchase a house. It might have been inculcated in our minds from our parents, from our peers, from just looking at society in general to live the dream. The other disclaimer that I'm going to be inserting is that most of the information that I will be giving pertains to the US market. It will be in US dollars. However, as the leading economy in the world, then we can take certain signals and certain examples from that economy and from that market. Now, the first thing that we're going to be looking at is, are you financially ready for the decision to purchase a house? This is not an emotional decision, my viewers. This is maybe the most outstanding and the most significant financial decision that you will ever make in your lifetime. This is a major financial decision, one that should be entered into without emotions. What you need to look at is, are you at the position in your life that you have the liquidity and you have the disposable income to purchase a house? There is no way you're going to be going to a financial institution and the cost of the property will be covered 100%. There are certain financial responsibilities that you will have to bear throughout the process. Things you need to look at as well. Do you have any upcoming financial obligations that you will have to be spending on? Do you have a major sickness that you will be undergoing treatment that you will need to pay for? Do you have your children's education that you need to be paying for? Or any other investment or expenditure that you might have in the very near future, because you're going to have to be liquid for this purchasing of the house. The next thing that you're going to be looking at is the upfront cost, as I said earlier, for purchasing the property. Now, there are certain expenses such as the down payment. A down payment can run anywhere from 5 to 20% for any property. The appraisal cost for the property, the surveyor's report that will have to be done for the property, and this is especially so in other markets, especially like Jamaica or other developing countries. You'll also need to consider inspection fees, attorney fees, and the closing cost. Now, let's look at an example from the National Association of Realtors. If we look at the median sales price in 2023 for a property, it runs at approximately $275,100. Now, if you are lucky, you might be asked for a 5% down payment towards this property. So the loan amount would be $261,345. Assuming closing fees are 2.5% of the loan value, those fees would amount to approximately $6,500. Let's also assume that the buyer made a $2,000 deposit. And this EMD is an expression of your faith and your trust in that you are seriously considering purchasing the property. Therefore, you would need to bring approximately $4,500 in cash just at the time of closing, and expected to have access to approximately $18,000 cash for this home purchasing decision. Do you have this liquidity to be purchasing a house? Right? Not many persons do. That's why purchasing a home requires a substantial initial outlay. Now, remember that this example was considering a property for $275,000, which is the median price, and that means it is the average price of properties. Now, costs could be higher or lower, And that is why it also cannot be an emotional decision, because we tend by emotions to consider things that are more than what we really want or will really satisfy us. So we might be basing off emotions and purchase a property that is much higher, that will significantly increase these estimates that we have looked at. The next thing that we're going to be looking at is the market uncertainty. And when we look at the trend of interest rates on mortgages, we are going to again be looking at the National Association of Realtors that shows the trend of mortgage rates over the last 3 years. And you can see that the rates are trending higher. In 2021, 3%, up to 6.88% for 2023. This indicates, friends, that the mortgage rates are increasing, and this therefore indicates that all these estimates would be increased higher than what we had projected them to be. Let's look also at the pricing trends. Pricing trends are increasing in the United States and also across the world for property prices. Now, you are not going to find that prices will remain at one place. Therefore, as prices trend upwards, all of these estimates will increase. Therefore, your cost again could be significantly above this $18,300. Now, whatever your exchange rate is in your country, then you can look at what this 18,000 would equate to in your local currency. So do the math to see the impact of what I am saying to you. The next thing that we're going to be looking at is flexibility and mobility. Especially after COVID, you do find that persons are refusing to stay in one place. Ask yourself this question. Are you willing to settle in this space for at least the next 10 years? It's going to take approximately 10 years for you to amortize or you to spread out the cost, the initial cost of what you are spending on this property. But by your nature and the developments that are happening in your life, is this somewhere that you're going to be staying for a significant length in the future? Look at your children. Where will they be going to school? Will you still be residing in the same geographical area? Look at your career. What are your dreams and aspirations? Are you looking to go overseas to increase your opportunity of earning more? Are you going to be a digital nomad? When persons realize the shortness of life and that you have not experienced as much as you would have liked to experience in life, many persons are opting for remote income earning potential that allows them to live anywhere in the world while generating an income. So why purchase a property? Why not live the rental option that you can move around the world, experience life, experience different cultures, different cuisine, while you have an income coming in? So why tie yourself to one geographic place by purchasing a property? All right. Now, the next thing that we're going to be looking at is something that is hidden and not realized by persons: maintenance and repairs. Whenever you rent a property, you simply take up your phone and dial the landlord and report a problem with the property. It is the landlord's responsibility to intervene and to have this matter corrected and fixed. When you purchase that property, it is your responsibility, right? What you have to consider as well when purchasing is the age of the property. The age of the property will determine the amount of maintenance and repairs that will be needed once you become that homeowner. Most of the time, persons make an emotional decision in purchasing a property, so a thorough inspection is not made of plumbing, infrastructure, the bones, as they would call it, of the property. Then they would be left with a significant bill. All right, let's look at some data again. 34% of respondents in a survey say that they faced less than $1,000 worth of maintenance cost when initially purchasing a property. 30% say they experienced repairs between $1,000 to $2,500 approximately, while 23% saw repairs between $2,500 to $4,999. 10% repairs of $5,000 to $10,000. What does this say, my viewers? It says that 63% of persons faced expenses of more than $1,000 in maintenance and repairs when they purchased a property. Can you afford that? What is the equivalent of that in your currency? Now look at what it costs if there are any plumbing related faults with the property. It can easily cost you anywhere between $10,000 to $15,000 for those repairs. And as I said, this information as well is coming from the underwriting manager at Hippo as told to CNBC. Right? The other thing we're looking at is property taxes and insurance. This is something that you should never forget about, and this is an ongoing expense. Property taxes and insurance will be based on the value of the property, and it will also be dependent on your geographic location where you reside. Is this a cost that you bore in mind? Ongoing property tax and insurance that fluctuates, mostly trending upwards, because especially with property insurance, as material and building costs increase, as there are climate changes with global warming and there are weather-related disasters that are more prone to happen, then your insurance cost will be increased over time. The next point that we're going to be looking at are your alternatives for your investment options. Instead of investing in purchasing a property, what else could you be investing in? This is known as the opportunity cost of an investment. Now, if it is that you continue to rent your property and not incur an additional mortgage cost, because when we look at the average mortgage rate and look at the average rental rate, we are realizing that it is approximately $900 more per month on average when you purchase a property and have a mortgage payment. So let's go to another option that we could be looking at. What about investing in the S&P 500? Now the S&P 500 index measures the value of the stocks of the 500 largest corporations by market capitalization listed on the New York Stock Exchange. It is considered to be one of the safest investment options for you to invest in. The returns are not as high as the other high-risk investment, but based on the trend that we're going to be looking at over the last 10 years, we realize that it is giving a return of approximately 10% over the last 10 years. Now, it does not mean that it has not had fluctuations, because as you can see in 2015, 18, and 2022, there were declines in the index returns. However, by and large, there was more of an increase than a decrease. Now, let's do some math. If it is that you will be paying $900 more for your mortgage over what you'd be paying for your rent, and we put it at 10 years. So let's put in $900 per month, and we are going to be putting that 10% estimate compounded annually. Now, compound interest is one of the most amazing ways for you to earn on your money. The longer you keep the funds in something, you will realize how much it yields a reward. Now, based on this calculation, you will see that you would have amounted an investment of $108,000. However, you would have earned in total $181,000. Now, you would be having a significant increase in your income. Let's increase it some more. If you were to put this amount and lock it into the S&P 500 for 20 years, assuming that it is still going to be averaging that 10%, let's see where you would end at. From an investment of $216,000, you would have realized a balance of $651,000. That is an almost tripling of what you had invested. If you were to take the $651,000 and invest it as a lump sum in the S&P 500 with a 10% average interest rate per year, you would be getting approximately $65,000 per year. This would allow you to retire comfortably early while you have other passive incomes. If it is that you are living in a developing country with $65,000 coming in every year, what would that work out to be? You could live a very comfortable life. So, this is the decision, and this is what you need to look at, my viewers, so that you can make a wise decision, not be impacted and influenced by society. Live exceptionally. Make your own decisions so that you can decide for yourself if something is the right decision for you. Now, as usual, thank you for watching. Please leave your comments below. If it is that you agree or you disagree with purchasing a home, let me know what your current situation is. Are you renting? Are you a homeowner? And what are your thoughts on what I have mentioned today? Also, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel so that we can grow as a family as I assist you in reaching the next levels in your financial success. Walk good.